through the first few problems very, very quickly, and then you will have to, because we did these in class earlier today. And then starting about with number 6, I'll slow down a little bit. Number 1, the correct answer was C. On number 2, the correct answer was C because 1/2 is a root and that is on the parabola. Number 3, the correct answer was D because 1, 2, and 4 were all true. Number 4, I'm going to go just a little bit slower. Number 4, B has the range of y is less than or equal to 0. D has solutions of -1 and 7. C has an axis of symmetry between -1 and 0. D has a vertex at 3, -16. B has only one root. And A has a solution between -2 and -1 and between 1 and 2. On number 5, A was not, B was not. C, this 3 right here, is the axis of symmetry, and the correct answer is D. If you take a greatest common factor out, this is what you get. This T gives me a 0, this one gives me a 6, so it hits the ground after 6 seconds. Okay, continuing on, number 6. Looking at these two, the bigger the number, the more narrow the graph is. So this answer would be B. G of x is wider than f of x. Okay, on problem number 7, I need to know which function is more narrow than 2. That means the number has to be larger than 2, which is A, because 4 is larger than 2, and it makes it more narrow. Number 8, we have the graph of 3x squared plus 1. What will happen if we double the coefficient? Well, that is going to make it much, much, much more narrow. So the answer is B. On number 9, we have to try to find a graph that is 2 units below. And so that's going to be G of x, which is x squared plus 3. X squared plus 3 is choice B. On number 10, I need to find the solutions. You've got several different ways in your bag of tricks to find the solutions. We have factoring. We can use square roots. We can do complete the square or the quadratic formula. I think I'm going to do the square roots because B is 0. We're going to subtract 6 from each side and we get 7x squared equals 7. Dividing by 7, x squared is equal to 1. And don't forget, when you take the square root, you have to use the positive and the negative square root. So that answer is B. Okay, continuing on to number 11. The rock was thrown when t equals 30 seconds. That doesn't mean anything. The rock was in the air for a total of 8 seconds. Looking at the graph, that is not true. It can't reach its maximum height in half the time it took to hit the ground because it started up here at 30, which is B. It was thrown from 30 feet in the air. On number 12, I need to find the roots. The easiest way to do that is to factor. If I can find quickly the factors of -27, I can do that. It is z plus 3 and z minus 9. They multiply to give me -27 and add to give me 6. The z plus 3 equals 0, so the final answer is 3. And z minus 9, the answer is 9. So let's shop around here and find, there we go, -3 or 9. On number 13, I need to find when the ball is going to hit the ground. I need to round to the nearest hundredth. Now that was going to take using the quadratic formula. So A is -16, B is 36, and C is 9. So x equals -36 plus or minus the square root. B squared is 36 squared, which is 1296. Minus 4 times -16 times 9, all over 2 times A, which is -32. The next thing I need to do is take the inside of this and put it into my calculator. And the discriminant is going to give me 1872. Next, I need to take -36 plus or minus the square root of 1872 and divide that by -32. Okay, you can see me typing this in my calculator and notice the parentheses. And now I'm going to divide by negative 32. Okay, so I've typed it in like this, and now I'm going to hit a decimal so that it gives me a decimal back. Oop, I didn't hit my decimal. Let's try that. Okay, then we hit enter, and it's negative 2.47. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Because sorry about that. That was a student that stopped by. Okay, now remember I can hit up arrow and hit it again, and then hit enter, and it will paste that on. And then I'm going to go back to the plus sign, change it to a minus sign, and hit enter. So these are the two answers that I get. And coming back to my problem, 13 looks like the answer is going to be A. I got rid of the negative because I'm looking for time, and time can't be negative. All right, this says find the number of real number solutions. So what I need to do with that is plug in b squared minus 4ac. A is 1, b is 0, and c is negative 1. So 0 squared is going to be 0 minus 4 times 1 times negative 1. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 1 is positive 4. Since 4 is a positive number, I am going to have two solutions. Remember, we went over that today in class. Okay, so for number 15, it's asking about zeros. When I read it, it's asking about zeros. So it looks like I need to find the zeros or the x-intercepts or the roots, which are all the same thing. The easiest way to do this is by factoring. So I'm going to take x minus 1. 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's x minus 1, which is x minus 1 squared. A is wrong because there are real zeros, and that answer should be 1. The zeros are 1 and negative 1. That's not true. Okay, and C cannot be right because it's not 1 and negative 1. The only solution is D, which is negative 1, because it only crosses the x-axis one time. Number 16 we did in class. The answer was A, because if you factor this, you get x minus 4 and x minus 3. And remember, when you do the solutions, you have to do the opposite of the factors. Okay, number 17A we did in class as well. You have to find the common differences. The differences right here is 2. It is all common, which means it's linear. The parent function is y equal x, and the function rule is going to be this, which is the slope, 2x, and then the y-intercept on the bottom, which is minus 2. Let's go ahead and do C together also. From negative 1 to 17 is down 16. From 17 to negative 31, and then from 31 to 49 is going down by 18. From 49 to 71 is going down 22. Well, it's not linear because these aren't the same, so let's see if it is quadratic. From 16 to 14 is up 2. From 14 to 18 is down 4. 18 to 22 is down 4 as well. Well, from 1 to 17 is definitely 16 spaces, and then 6, yep, these are not the same, so this is not linear nor quadratic. And so this does not appear to be linear or quadratic. Either one doesn't have a parent function, and it doesn't have a function rule. We did B in class. Remember that these are going up, there it goes, down by 3, down by 1, up 1, and up 3. It's not linear. So then we notice that these are all increasing by 2, which makes it quadratic. The parent function is y equals x squared, and the function rule is going to be x squared plus the y-intercept, which is 3. On D, I'm going to go from 5 to 14, which is up 9. 14 to 25 is up 11. 25 to 38 is up 13. And 38 to 53 is up 15. There's no common factor, so it's not linear. Now these all go up by 2, which makes it quadratic. The parent function is y equals x squared, And at this point, you are not going to be required to put that in and find the function rule. So we're going to leave that part off for now. 18a has a greatest common factor of an 8 and an x. We're left with x squared plus 9x plus 20. I can factor that, which is x plus 4 and x plus 5. Now, since it just says factor, these are going to be the answers. I do not have to find the solutions. On b, we have to multiply to get negative 16 and add to get 0. That's going to be b plus 4 and b minus 4. On c, I notice that these are perfect squares, so I'm going to see if I can make it a perfect square trinomial. Since this is a minus, this is a minus. The square root of 9t squared is 3t. The square root of 1 is 1. Now I need to check for the 6t. 3t times 1t is 3t, and then double that, and that gives me 6. There's my final answer. D, I need to see if I can find something that will multiply to give me 9 and add to give me 15. Well, guess what? There is nothing that will do that. Don't put no solution, but put not factorable. Number 19, how does the graph compare to the quadratic parent function? The parent function is y equals 1x squared, and y equals 2x squared is more narrow. Okay, on number 20, I need to compare that to the parent function. Again, the parent function is 1x squared. This is minus 4, so this graph is translated down 4. It's the same width, and it also opens up. On 21, looking at these two graphs, the first graph opens up, while the second graph opens down. The first graph and the second graph both have the same vertex, and they have the same width. 22, we're going to compare first of all, we're going to compare the up or down. The first graph opens down. It is more narrow. Do you remember that the fractions are a little bit wider? And this one is plus 4, and this one is minus 2. So it is translated up 6. On 23, I need to find the dimensions. Uh-oh, there's a typo. Of the typo. I need to find the dimensions of the rectangle. Basically, that's asking me to factor. So I need to do my parentheses, fill in my x's, multiply to give me 8, add to give me negative 2. That's going to be a minus 4 and a plus 2. So those are my dimensions. Now I need to find the perimeter. I have 2x minus 4s, and I have 2x plus 2s. So that's going to be 2x minus 8 and 2x plus 4. 2x and 2x is 4x, and negative 4 plus 8 is minus 4. On 24, I'm supposed to draw the model like we did in class today. So I have 2x plus 1. I'm going to draw the little x values. And then I'm going to draw my x plus 2 going down. Okay, now when I fill in these, x times x would give me x squared. X times x gives me another x squared. So both of these are x squared. 1 times x gives me an x. 1 times this x gives me an x. 1 times x is an x. And 1 times 1 is a 1. Here, this is going to be the exact same thing. So then I have to find the answer. I have 2x squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 5x plus 2. Now you don't technically have to do the model for that, but you possibly could have that on your EOC test and your DCA. Okay, for number 25, this is a very important problem. We have a baseball player hit a pitched ball when it was 4 feet above the ground. That is going to be my initial height, or h. Initial velocity is 80. That's going to be my v. And so my formula is h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 80t plus 4, which is the height of the ball when it was hit. Now I need to factor this to be able, wait, time out. I need to find the maximum height. Well, if I'm going to find the maximum height, let's see, I'm going to go right here. To find the maximum height, I need to find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. That's going to be negative 80 over 2 times negative 16. And if I find the answer to that, this is what it looks like in my calculator. Negative 80 divided by 2 times negative 16